There are a couple of things that I want to discuss, which is not there in the syllabus, but is very important and may come for the exams. Not only for the exams, but it is very important for you when you get in the job. One of the things is personal selling, because it's part of your promotion mix, but unfortunately, it is not there mentioned. Maybe we should put it under direct marketing. But as far as I'm concerned, personal selling and direct marketing are different. So let's look at first what is personal selling. Most salespeople are well-educated, well-trained professionals who work and to build and maintain long-term relationship with customers. They are the people who go to the customers with a product, convince them to buy the product, tell them tell them what their needs and wants and what way your product is better than competition, and make them buy your product. And along with that, you build long-term relationships. So they're well-trained professionals who will build and maintain long-term relationships. There are wide spectrum of positions as far as personal selling is concerned. You have order takers, people who go into department stores and other places and take orders. And second is order getter, someone engaged in creative selling. So you actually go to yeah, individual customers and talk to them and get their orders. And the third one is missionary salesperson, whose main job is building goodwill or educating buyers. Just like you have all this medical sales rep who is not supposed to take orders, but essentially build goodwill or educate buyers. In the sense that educate doctors who will in turn prescribe their medicines, and that will be sold through the pharmaceutical outlets. So you have order takers. Essentially, these are retail salespeople, what we call retail salespeople, because they are going to retailers and department stores, and their main job is that they actually interact between the retailer and the uh, distributor. So that is their main job, and of course they will be interacting with the company also. Order getter is a real order salesperson, where you go individually to different people. So, like we saw for sales promotion and advertising and public relations, this is a two-way personal communication. It is not mass communication. Uh, Direct marketing is personal communication, and here this is also personal communication. On the other hand, advertising and sales promotion and public relations are all mass communication. It is one-on-one, and it is individual. So it involves two-way personal communication between salespeople and individual customers. With it can be through face-to-face, it can be telephone, it can be through video conferencing, or any other means. But it is one-on-one, it is individual, and it is face-to-face for between people. So face-to-face to telephone to video conferencing. So what is the role of the sales force? Personal selling is effective because salesforce can probe customers to learn more about their problems. What we call the pain point. If you know the pain points, and if you can convince that the customer that your product is better than competition in terms of actually solving those pain points, and if you can actually solve those points, then they will be your customer for life. Adjust the marketing offer to fit the special needs of each customer. Each customer has their own special needs, so you have what you can call mass customization. You adjust the marketing offer, because your product definitely will be mass in nature, but you can customize it in some way or the other and adjust the marketing offer to fit the special needs of each customer. You can negotiate, say, term of sale. When you are directly facing the person, you can negotiate the term of sale and build long-term personal relationship with key decision makers, especially we are talking about B2B. And where you are talking to one customer or two customers, not bulk customers. So the role of the sales force is represent the company to customers to produce company profit. So that is the main thing, represent the company to the customers. Serves as a critical link between company and its customers, since they represent customers to company to produce customer satisfaction also. So you produce company the profit and customer satisfaction through being a link with the customers. So what is the major steps in Salesforce management? There are two things. There is a major steps in sales, and then there is major steps in Salesforce management. Here I am talking about steps in Salesforce management. So the first thing is designing Salesforce strategy and structure. So you have to design what is your, especially like we saw in all planning, we have to first decide what is the objective of the Salesforce. Is it increasing sales? Is it more walk-ins that you're looking at, so that you want to increase the goodwill? What is the objective that you're looking at? And then once you have that, objective is there, then you have to design the Salesforce strategy, and based on that Salesforce strategy, you design the structure. Just like we saw in marketing organization, there are different structures in sales force also. You can have territorial structure, you can have product structure based on the product. There are different structures. So some companies have different salespeople for different products. Some other thing may be based on geography, so territorial. You can have people for Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and all those. So you have to design sales for strategy and structure. Then recruiting and selecting salespeople. So you can give advertisements. Recruiting means sourcing. Sourcing can be advertisement, can, but what we find most effective is go into the market, talk to the retailers. They will tell you who are the best salespeople in the area, and you get their numbers and contact them directly and interview them. So selecting the salespeople, definitely you have to have recommendations. Ideally, that is the ideal thing. With those who come with references, you talk to them, interview them, and see how they do in the field. That is what is required. So recruiting and selecting. But big companies actually have headhunters do the stuff for recruiting, but the selection, of course, will be done at three levels. HR level, they will talk about the salaries and stuff, and then you have the line managers who will be checking out how good they are, and maybe at the senior level they will decide the final. They will be the final authority. So you have recruiting and selection. It can be recruiting can be done through advertisements. It can be done through recommendations, and that is coming in, or they can be like I said, through headhunters and stuff like that. Training salespeople. Once you have recruited them, you have to actually place them in different positions, and then you have to train them. So you have to do a bit of training, especially if they are new into the business. And then you're talking about compensating the salespeople. There are ways of compensation. You can actually have salaries or commissions, or a mix of both. Like and again, I have mentioned this before. The best method is going for commission, because it is useful for both company and the salesperson, because the more you sell, the more you get, and the salesperson is happy. The more you sell, the more company gets, so the company is also happy. But what happens is, if the salesperson is new, or the market is new, then the sales may not be very high. So you have you will not be able to get enough money to survive. So what you do is, many companies, what they do is, they will give 3 months or 5 6 months salary. After that, they will go for commission basis, or they will have a mix of salary and commission, so that basic this thing will be solved through the salary, and commission will come with the incentives, extra sales that they're coming out with. So it can be salary, commission, or a mix of both. And then you have supervising salespeople. You have to be in contact with the salespeople. You have to supervise them. You they send you orders, and you have to ensure that they are bringing enough orders. They are going to enough shops. They are visiting the places that. So you have something called a tour plan, and you have to ensure that the tour plan is being followed. Orders will come through these days with WhatsApp and email. They come through mobiles and emails, and you have to ensure that they do the collection also properly, because that is also their job. Unless and until the money comes from the distributor or from the retailer, the company cannot survive. And the last one is evaluating salespeople. So you have monthly meetings, quarterly meetings. You give them quotas, and you tell them that you have to achieve so much targets per quarter. And if they don't achieve, then you have to take necessary action. Usually, what happens is 70 to 80% is what people will be able to achieve in this quota, because you set the quota like that. The targets will be like that. And if they cannot achieve that, you will wait for 1 or 2 quarters, and after one or two quarters, definitely you will say that next quarter you're out, and if they don't achieve, they're out. So these are all things that companies do as far as Salesforce management is concerned.